Hey there everyone, welcome back to another impressions video. And today we are looking at this game right here. This is Hotaru No Nikki, or Firefly Diary. And yeah, it's I got a bit to say about this game. But first we'll talk about what is it. Mostly it's a puzzle game, kind of like a platforming puzzle game, not unlike something like Limbo, but kind of unlike something like Limbo. Um, but if you keep that in mind, if you keep like the idea of Limbo in your mind, that's kind of a good explanation, like a real basic one of what the game is. And yeah, we will talk about it though. But first, the first thing I'm going to talk about with this game is what it looks like, because it does have a really nice kind of art style. It's it's got two different types of art styles actually. You have like the normal kind of gameplay art style, which is, this is a an NIS game, so it has that kind of NIS feel, like the character sprites. I mean, it's 2D sprites, and but it's a little bit darker and kind of this weird world, like Limbo, I want to say, because it's similar to that in the sense. I mean, it's a lot more colorful, obviously, because it's in color, but um, the kind of idea of it is like uh, it's got these kind of like a palette that's in almost like, I want to say, the pastel range, but it's like a darker kind of, it's like a sepia version of all the colors, I guess. I mean, I realize sepia means brown, but it's not. It's kind of like a, almost like if you took a colorful game and added a sepia layer to it, and everything is kind of like that. Um, that's, I don't know. That's like kind of the best way to explain it. It's not exactly colorful, even though there's a lot of colors, but I really enjoy the art style. It looks really nice, and I was, when this game was announced, I was pretty interested in it, but not interested in it enough to get it on the first day, which was a mistake. Um, Not because of the game, but because it, I didn't realize that NIS was only putting out a limited amount of these. I figured it was coming out on the same day as something else I was getting, and I thought, like, well, I don't want to get both because I'm not going to be able to play both at the same time. I'll just wait for one to go down in price, and figured this one would go down in price. But the issue with it was is that, like, the physical copies sold out immediately. There was like a real limited amount of them, and they didn't want to make any more. They wanted to push it as a download game, and yeah, so I missed out on this. But a really awesome dude uh, sent me this as a gift. It's part, I have a video up if you want to see the video of me unboxing all this stuff that I got as a gift, which was amazing. But there is a video, and I did get this, and this was actually the thing I was expecting. But so I did play this, and man, I want to say that I really wanted to like this game. I really liked Limbo actually, and I like that kind of game where it's like an environmental puzzle where you can kind of look at things and figure out what you're supposed to do and kind of work through this puzzle kind of elements. And this has that, but it's got so much more that's um, not good. um, let yeah, let me get into why, well, what I thought about this game, because I on a real basic level, this was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever played in my life. Um, it was it was painful at times. Like, I just wanted to smash things. And usually I'm like really patient with games. Like, I don't care if like I'm on playing a game and I die like 100 times in a row. I'm not. I don't get frustrated with that stuff. I just figure, oh well, I'm dead there. Try again. And this game has a lot of that, but it's frustrating. It's like frustrating in all the worst ways. So, well, let me explain a bit about the game because this explains a lot of the frustration. Um, this girl on the cover here is kind of the main character. You don't play as her though. You play as the Firefly, which controls where the girl goes. And it's all touchscreen based. Problem number one, touchscreen based. Um, you can't use the controller to control the Firefly. And you might say, well, that's not so bad. I don't mind playing on the touchscreen. It matters a lot in this game. It like the number one reason you'll be dying in this game is because of the touchscreen. Um, and it'll be stupid stuff too. And you'll know I'll explain all of that. But so you move the Firefly around the screen by touchscreen, and it's not like one to one either. So when you touch the screen, it's not like the Firefly automatically goes where you touch. It has to fly, like it actually has to move along the screen at a leisurely pace. And you'll see that like that makes the girl move, the moving the girl, like the kind of input lag from where you want her to go or direct her to go and the time it takes for her to actually move there is like ridiculous. So but that's like the basic thing of the game though. It's like um I want to say take all the most annoying things you can think of in games, and this game has them all. Like it's first of all, it's like it's like an entire game is an escort mission. Um, you also have okay. I'll get into all of this because it's hard to even like organize it in my brain how many different things that were annoying in this game because there were so many. And this isn't like it's annoying because it's difficult. It's annoying because it's like the puzzle. It's puzzle based. There's puzzles. Every stage is a puzzle. Obviously, there are a lot of puzzles, like Limbo. Except in Limbo, which made Limbo good was that the puzzles were logical and also fair. Like when you died in Limbo, you were just like, "Oh, I didn't see that thing and I died," or "I didn't figure out the puzzle." In this one, like you can figure out the puzzle immediately, but still die a million times trying to get it because of the controls or because of just the stupid way the puzzles are set up. And it's really frustrating because it's not like you're going through the game and having a trouble figuring out the puzzle. It's just like you're going through and you just it's like always you're trying to thread the needle or something. And there are a lot of examples of this. In some of the early, in a bunch of the stages actually, there's like, if you've ever heard of the game called The Annoying Stick, if you've ever played that, um, I'm sorry, but if you've ever played it, this game has sections that are exactly that game, except that game you could control with an analog stick. This game you cannot, which makes it even more annoying than the annoying stick, which is like almost impossible. Um, but essentially, you have mazes you're going through with touchscreen, and like some things move in the maze, and you'll block your view with your finger because you have to move in like certain directions, and you'll find that you'll die a ton of times just because you can't see where you're going because like to actually go there you have to touch the screen which blocks your view. um there's tons of times where like just going through the mazes is sometimes you just can't see stuff. um in general you can't see it, so it's a little bit more difficult that way. And then sometimes it's just um there's an arbitrary time limit on some things and it's just not working, and it makes things more frustrating than they ever had to be, even the annoying stick. So this game has the annoying stick section. It's got teleport sections where like you'll go indoors and teleport out another door random. And it's not random, but you can't see where it's going to go, so you'll just die. You'll go in a door and you'll pop out under a trap or something. And it's not a logical thing. It's just a trial and error at that point. You hit that door and you're dead. There's no warning, is what I'm saying. There's no way I could like look at the door and be like, oh, I guess that one looks like it's going to be a trap. There's nothing like that. It's just you have to go in and die. And that's kind of how the game plays a lot of the time, where um, you have these kind of puzzles that there aren't really many puzzles that are incredibly difficult. It's just the game like makes things more difficult by adding things that are completely unfair. There's boss battles too that are exactly like that, where you know, fighting the boss is a kind of puzzle in itself, but you'll figure out the puzzle and then like suddenly the rules will change for no reason with no indication that they've changed. So you'll be going through and you'll be like, oh, well, okay, this is how things work. And then like you're going through and you're like, okay, I got this boss. And then suddenly at the end, there's like a ridiculously short time limit um, thing you have to do that is totally unrelated to what the other things you've been doing in the boss battle are. So you'll always die that way. It's like you just don't know it's coming, and there's no indication it's coming. So you'll always die, and then you'll have to do an entire section again, or you'll have to do the entire boss battle again. And that happens a lot in this game. It's so frustrating because you'll be like, okay, I finally got through this really annoying part. And then, like, there'll be some puzzle that shows up right at the end of it before, like, a checkpoint. And it'll give you, like, this ridiculously small time limit to do it, except you don't realize that it's a puzzle until you're already dead. So, you know, you go through these ridiculously annoying parts and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I got through that. I'm so happy it's over. I never have to do it again. And then you die because of the kind of unfair changing of the rules or the kind of unfair situation they put you into with a ridiculously short time limit. Um, you'll know if you play this, you'll know exactly what I mean. And you'll know after you play, you'll know exactly what parts I'm talking about right now because there are a few that are incredibly unfair. Um, and yeah, that's man. I'm trying to think of what else there is that. There's lots of parts where there's kind of easy puzzles where like you can look at it and be like, okay, I have to go here, go here, go here, and I'm that's the way to the puzzle. But they'll hide enemies in places you can't see, and you can't tell they're there until they're killing you already. So then you'll go through the stage and then you'll realize like, oh well, I still have to go the same way I initially thought I did, but now like the space I have to go through with these controls that are really spotty is tiny. So I'm like having to thread the needle through enemies and stuff like that. It makes the game really, really annoying. And I played this, I finished this game, and there is like a kind of true ending where you can go through and get like a final boss battle. I did not do that. I, once I got to the credits and the regular ending, I was like, fuck this game, I'm done. Um, yeah, but okay, I'll tell you how you're supposed to get to the. I'm leaving out some parts that are like some descriptions of the game because although it was like incredibly frustrating, and I'm glad I don't have to play it. Like there are some things that are kind of interesting. The story is like kind of interesting, except that it's really vague. And maybe if you get the true ending, there's like some kind of clearing up, but it's not. I doubt it. I doubt it. So I'm thinking that you can. It's probably always a little bit vague, which is not bad. I'm not saying that. Like it does make you think about like what is happening in the game and what's happening in the story, and I think I liked that. It was cool. But you in the stages there are kind of an optional thing where you have to collect memories, and when you hop into the memories, you go into this kind of isometric 16-bit style RPG where you're in the girl's memories and you like walk around the house and get your dog a toy and that's the end of the memory, or you go in and you eat dinner with your family and that's the end of the memory. But they get weirder and weirder, so there's some other things that happen where it's just like I don't know what's happening in this memory, it's too weird. um it's that part is pretty interesting. And I liked the kind of 16-bit RPG parts, even though they're really slow. There's no action. It's just kind of like walking around in a little bit of an environment. I thought it was a nice touch, but man, overall, um, I recommend this game. Man, it's so frustrating for all the wrong reasons. Like it could have been good, which makes it worse. I think it's just that it could have been a lot better, and they kind of made these designs decisions with the game that make it so bad. And it's a huge disappointment, is what I want to say. Huge disappointment, because it could have been another game like Limbo, that was, this kind of environmental puzzle game, but interesting and fun, and had somewhat challenging puzzles. And this one just has annoying puzzles that aren't really challenging, they're just annoying, and boss battles that are not really challenging, just annoying, and you know kind of controls that are not very good and not very easy to control. And then they force you to rely on those unresponsive controls to get through kind of precision control areas. It's terrible design decisions all around in this game, which make it a lot less fun than it really could have been. So I've been talking about this game too much. This is almost 20 minutes, and I'm going to end this video because I don't really have much more to say. But if you have any questions, I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out because... oh yeah, I am leaving stuff out. I'm leaving out a big element of the game. There are two kind of elements for this game. You have the real world and you have the shadow world. So you can flip your character to the shadow world. There's like a shadow firefly kind of that you can use that emanates from the girl. Switch to the shadow world and you can drag the back screen to move along the shadows of items. It's not... you use that a lot to flip switches or find enemies and select things. And there's a lot of things where it's like, you have to be in the exact right spot at the exact right time to connect with the shadows, to use the shadow to hit a switch. Like, they use that a lot in a lot of the puzzles. So you'll be using that a lot. It's a cool element, actually. Like I'm saying with this, as a final sum up, this game was not fun, but there are so many elements. Like, all the elements of it could have been fun. In theory, this game should be fun. It's just the way that it was put together is so terrible that it negates all the elements of it that should be fun to be annoying all around. That's all I gotta say. All the ways this game could have been fun, they did not use those ways. Instead, they opted for this kind of annoying, unfun game. I guess that's all I can say. The only thing I can really say about it is it looks good, and the story was interesting at least. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna end. See you guys next time.